Welcome back to the Beyond the Home Study podcast, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. This is just real conversations for parents of foster and adoptive kids. So, Laura, it's just me and you. It's March, a new month, kicking things off.
Yeah, we are kicking things off a little differently this month because I am not in my studio. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm like sitting on a couch in a lanai, which should be your indicator that I am in Florida. So I'm coming at you from Florida this week.
So fun.
So
And you're looking so tan. I'm so jealous.
thanks. Like I'm just flaunting it now. I'm like, look at this tan.
Yeah. Well, and you're not just there for like a little blip, like a little trip. Like you've been there for a little while and you're going to be there for a little while still.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
I hate the gloomy, no sun winter. I like winter, but I just don't like the gloominess. So I thankfully have in-laws that have a house in Florida that they like snowbird. And so the kids and I packed up. We've been here for 2 weeks. Greg just got here yesterday. Um, and then we have one more week. So
So fun.
soaking up the sun.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys a little bit about what we're talking about today and this month. So, if you guys have been following along with the season two, we've kind of broken up the months into themes. Last month we really hit hard on foster care and talking all about that. We had some great guests, some great solos. This month we're talking about behavior. Um, and when we have foster and or adopted children, the behavior can look really different. And so this month is all about talking about that. So, like, what does that mean? And like today, we're really going to dive on what Abby and I, like, our experiences, like how this has changed our parenting. Um, and then later this month, we've got some really great guests. So, like, be on the lookout. I'm like so pumped about it. We've got some experts that are going to be so good. We've got parents that have been there. Then, Abby, do you want to just, like, give them a little, like we've already told them about the book club, right? Do they know about book club?
Yes. Yes. So, we announced it on Instagram, and I actually have it here. So, at the end of the month, because March has an extra Tuesday, so we were like, okay, what should we do? Like, we should do something kind of different and fun when Laura and I were like planning everything out. So, I have the book here. This is The Whole Brain Child. This is the book that we are reading and we're going to discuss. So, if you are listening to this now and you don't follow us on Instagram, this is the first time you're hearing about it. But yeah, we're just gonna we've read through it. We've got like a few different points, like, okay, we agree, we disagree, we've seen this, we've not seen that, whatever. So if you're into reading, whether a physical book, which I got this to like look at, and it's really interesting. So I'm more of an audiobook person, so I'm gonna listen to the audiobook more
I
and
knew
like
it. I was like, "You're
refer more.
totally listening to this."
I have listened to it in the past and I'm like listening back to it again, but the actual physical book has like lots of little
Like diagrams.
doodles and diagrams and stuff that are like actually so helpful. And like a few of the points that I remember from reading it the first time, I'm like looking at the diagrams and like they're almost like little cartoon pictures and I'm super visual. So honestly, audiobooks are like not the best way for me to learn, but it's like the easiest way for me to consume, because I pick
'Cause
up a book,
mom life.
mom life. I pick up a book in bed and like, yeah, it's not going to be read. So, anyways, book club, book discussion, whatever we're calling it, is coming at the end of the month.
Yeah, so you guys definitely should read the book. And then, yeah, we'd love to, like, hear your comments and stuff on it too.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
so yeah, that is what we have in store for this month.
Yeah, I know. It's exciting. I like sticking with these themes because I think it's also helpful, like, if you hear an episode and then you're like, "I wanna go back to that," or like, "When did they talk about that again?" It's, like, gonna be really easy to go back and find, "Okay, in February, we talked about foster care." So, I don't know. Hopefully that's helpful. It would be helpful if I was the consumer of it, I think. So,
You mean you don't listen to our podcast,
there's
Abby?
that. I usually don't. Even though the experts that you just teased a little bit, the expert interviews for this month, I will be going back and listening to because my brain was exploding and I need to consume that again.
I feel that. I
Yeah.
feel that.
So, anyways, um okay, let's talk about like I don't know, do we want to start with like sharing some scenarios? Like you're kind of in a unique spot because you've got an adopted child and then you have your bio child. And so I'm curious like we don't have to share any real specifics, but like do you feel a difference as you parent them for yourself? Like the way you react, the way you interact, like some of that based on their behavior?
Think yeah, I mean, to answer your question, yes.
Mhm.
It's very different. And of course, like we're gonna go down this whole like, nature, nurture, like, well, is it because of their personality? Is that the reason? Or is it because one's adopted? Like, how do you know like why you're doing things different? Like, we'll never know. But I definitely treat them different. They definitely trigger me different.
Hmm.
Um, like, I don't know. And I will say this, like, there's always this insecurity in the back of my mind about the way that I'm treating my daughter. Like if I do something that feels like, oh, I've hurt her feelings, or like,
Mm.
oh, like, something like that, there's always this like, evil thing in the back of my mind that's like, she's gonna think you did this because she's adopted.
Yeah.
Where, like, I literally don't ever think anything of it when I like, something happens with my son and I hurt his feelings, and I'm never like, "Oh, his attachment," or, "Oh, he's gonna think he's" no, like, just no.
Right. And I mean, who knows, like, down the road, when you have adult children and you're having conversations like this with them, like, I wonder what they'll say. If they'll say, like, "Oh, I was traumatized by" like, if your son is like, "I was traumatized by this one thing," and your daughter's like, "It didn't even matter."
I know, or like, Des could be like, "You treated her so different," like, you know what I mean? Like, I know, it's terrible, but, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's reality, and, like, I'm sure we're talking to many families that are blended like this, where they have some whether it's, like, adopted children or maybe foster kids or whatever, like, you do parent differently, and, like, I think what you said of, like, the triggers, that different things with your kids can trigger you differently, I wanna, like, dive into that because we don't wanna share a ton about our kids' behavior, like, real specifics because we don't need to share all of that. You all know, listening to this, like, just imagine, like, you probably have examples from your day today. I have examples from my day today. So think of some of those examples, like, as we're talking about this and
Right.
just, fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, like the triggers. Yeah, I can, like, kinda go into that a little bit. Like, um, so my son is Des is, biological, Desmond, he triggers me in ways that have to do with just, like, we butt heads because 'cause we're really similar. Like stubbornness type things, like stuff like that, where you're just like, "Ugh!" Just really, what I wanna be like, "Just do what I want you to do," is really, like, what it comes down to. My daughter doesn't have that type of a personality, and I kinda always say, like, I actually never wanted a daughter. And really, it's because I didn't want a daughter like me,
Yeah.
because I think butting heads with my son is easier because he really just lets it roll, and I was always afraid. I'm like, "If I have a girl like me and we butt heads, I just don't think I could handle it." And so adopting a daughter honestly has been the biggest blessing because I'm so much more compassionate towards her. She's very different than me. Yeah, but she still triggers me, and hers are more trauma related. So I can be really triggered by her when she has some sensory needs that are different and more trauma related. So my son like has a lot of I'm like going on a tangent, guys. Um there's a difference between like having very strong sensory preferences, which is my son, but we know how he meets those, think like boy, wild boy, like that kind of stuff. And then another type that's like, no, 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 these aren't sensory preferences. These are sensory needs, brain wiring, like fight or flight kind of things. And my daughter has that some stuff going on. And there are things that she says or does that are related to that. And the reason they're triggering to me is because it makes me feel so inadequate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you and I mean, for you to feel inadequate is a lot is saying a lot because you have a lot of tools, you have a lot of knowledge, like there's a lot that you know why she's doing the things she's doing cognitively, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I mean, it comes out in practice differently, I'm sure. But like you've seen this like caring for like working with other kids, caring for other kids, all the different things. So, I feel like that's saying a lot if that makes you feel inadequate, which is hard,
It is, it's
really
hard. Yeah,
hard.
you can totally know it from, like, a cognitive level, and then it's, like, in your face, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, "I know that you're doing this because of this trauma, because of these needs," and I still am just like, "I'm a terrible mom," because, like, I don't I don't wanna do this right now or whatever, because there's more to it there, but what about you with like, so if you're just listening to this, Abby has 3 children, 2 are twins, and they're all adopted but differently.
Mhm.
And so how does that play out with you
Yeah.
like in parenting them different and the different types of adoption because that's actually like relevant?
Yeah, definitely. I think so Judah is adopted he was adopted as an embryo, and there's I would say, like, 95% of the days, I don't even think of him as being adopted because, like, I was pregnant with him, I carried him, I birthed him, I have been with him since like, literally the very beginning, you know? And so I don't think of him as being adopted a lot. I think especially recently so he's 4, and I was just talking to a friend, and she said, like, 4 was the hardest year for her. Like, her kids are, like, first grade, and then she's got a 5-year-old. So, she's like, "4 was really, really hard." So, like, if you're having a hard time like, just know that that was really hard. And I this was like, literally yesterday that she said this, and I was like, "It has been really hard lately." And I was
Mm,
just thinking there's a lot of things I was thinking, and I won't go into all of it, like, of different things we've had going on and, like, more, like, circumstantial things and sickness and all that. So, like, I've been thinking about that, and I'm like, "Wow, if she's saying 4 was hard, like, maybe I'm not seeing, like, the bigger picture, maybe I'm, like,
mhm.
looking at it and I'm just seeing, like, this day, like, this thing affected him or this whatever, or affected me or however it was. I was like, maybe I'm, like, not zooming out to see, like, more of, like, what's going on developmentally, what's going on, like, yeah, I don't know. So I started reading a little bit, and I actually, like, off the podcast, will pick your brain on some things,
Okay.
which I'm, like, also happy to share more with other people. I just I don't need to air it all right here. And I'll tell you all the things that I've done and that I think I'm doing right, and then the things I know I'm doing wrong and all of that, but yeah, it's been a really interesting season of, like, okay, are you, like, being really defiant and really, like, headstrong because, like, you're developing something that's, like you're
Mhm.
developing more bravery and the courage and, like, there's so many things that he's, like, excelling in right now that are so cool and, like, so good to see and independence and all of this that I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," like, cheering you on, I want you to do all these things, but also do what I want you to do, like,
Uh-huh.
just, like, you've got to listen to me, and I hate the, like, "Just do what I say because 'cause I'm your mom, and I said
Mhm.
so." Like, I that is, like, seriously last resort, and I've done it, like, and I've said it, and so, like, I've gotten there to the end. And so, yeah, there's just been I mean, like, yeah, just pick a
What about
thing.
with the girls? Like, have you noticed a difference yet, or do you feel like they're just too young?
I feel like with the girls so they just turned 1, actually since we last recorded, I think. Yeah, probably. They just turned 1.
I'm a
So
terrible friend. I missed their birthday.
oh, no, it's fine. It was like, it was in the middle of all of the travels and all the things that were going
Mhm.
on. So and we actually haven't celebrated their birthday at our house yet. We had a party for them with my in-laws, which was really sweet, and then we're celebrating, this coming weekend. So, lots of celebrations to still come. But yeah, with the girls, I think people have asked, like, do you feel like you had a harder time attaching to them, like, at the beginning and, like, really, like, knowing they're your kids and, like, honestly, the adoption isn't even finalized yet, so there's, like, a lot of all that going on, and I'm like, "No, like, I know that I'm meant to care for them," and, like, a lot of parenting them right now is making bottles, changing diapers,
Right.
making sure that Eliza isn't chewing the whole pages out of books and choking on the paper, like those kinds of things. So I feel like it's more just like care right now than like hard
I know what you
behavior
mean.
parenting, if that makes sense. So, but I mean, I can see like little things in their personality they're developing already of like, okay, I think Eliza is going to be like a little bit more adventurous, but, like, she's not as headstrong, where Lucy is more, like, aggressive and maybe headstrong, but is, like, not gonna, like, go out on her own, like, she needs to be with someone. It's really interesting, it'll be fun to, like, watch their little personalities develop.
Yeah, especially because 'cause they're twins, and then you're always yeah.
Ugh.
There's always so many factors with adoption.
Yep.
You know, like you were talking about earlier with your son, like, you're like, "Is this because, he's going through a developmental leap?" I do that all the time with my daughter. I'm like, "Is it trauma? Is it sensory? Is it normal, like, just very typical,
Yes.
and you can't compare kid to kid either, so it's not like I can, like, look at my son and be like, "Well, he didn't do this." I'm like, "They're so different anyway that, like, that's
Mhm.
not a good comparison." Yeah, it's really hard to, like it's almost like you just have to have it as a category so
Yes.
that you can look through it through that lens, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is that.
Yeah, just like I mean, I could say the same thing for, like, the flip side of it. If you're listening to this podcast and you don't have adopted children or you don't have children in foster care, but you're just listening to this because it's kind of like a parenting outlet and parenting podcast for you. There's still things in all of this that are relatable in some like you can take little pieces of it. It doesn't have to it's just one piece of it. So, yeah, interesting. Um so what do you think like when you're triggered by different things and like I can't really think of honestly, I can't think of, like, a whole lot of specific triggers that I have because I'm not, like, as attuned to oh, like, whatever, I don't know, I don't even know where I'm going
Give
with
you a
that.
list.
Yeah, I don't know. But I know for myself, if I am, like, coming into the day or the situation with, like, these things, I've put my oxygen mask on, right? Like, on the plane, like,
Yeah, yeah.
I've put my oxygen mask on myself, now I can put it on my child. Like, if I'm coming into the day, like, feeling good and feeling strong with, like, these things having been done already, I'm approaching situations differently, and, like, maybe I'm triggered less because I've checked these things off. So, I don't know, is that helpful to, like, talk through some of those things of, like, how we kind of, like, arm ourselves for battle with the behavior of our kids?
Yeah, well, I also think it's really important if you're watching this on YouTube, I apologize, this couch is, like, so deep, and I
You're
can't,
falling
like
in.
I am like, yeah, like, I think that professionally, I will talk to parents that honestly are they themselves in fight or flight.
Yes.
I talk to so many parents where they've got thrown into an adoption situation that maybe they weren't ready for because the child was older and there was like a honeymoon period, and then all of a sudden all these behaviors come, or like whatever. There's tons of different reasons, and the parent is it's almost like they're trying to just like put these band-aids on, and they want these like little like fixes, like, oh, if I just give two choices, or oh, if I just, phrase it this way or do this sensory activity. And I'm not saying those things aren't helpful, they are, but if you yourself are dysregulated, and
Mhm.
I don't mean like in the moment. There's two types here, right? Like you can be, not in a fight or flight season, we'll call it, and then have a dysregulated moment.
Yeah.
A lot of you parents are here. You are in fight or flight. And so every single thing that your child does is triggering. Every moment. That's your parent that's like, I don't enjoy being with my child. I don't like, that's where you are. You're not a bad person. You're not, that's where you are. And so yeah, like having these, like putting your oxygen mask on first, like you have to get yourself regulated. And I mean, it's just vital. Like you need to go
Yeah.
to therapy. Like you may need EMDR. Like like secondary trauma is so real, there. And so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do. I think sure, like exercise, go on walks, have a babysitter, put your kids in school when you wanted to homeschool. Like there are lots of things that you can do, but there's no like one fix, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we could talk a little bit about like even okay, you're on a trip right now. So you're away from your home, you're away from like your normal routine of things. And I don't know, for some people that might be like, "Oh, this is so helpful. Like it's all new and like everything is exciting and like we don't have the same terrible behaviors that we have at home or whatever, like whatever it may be." Or it's we're all dysregulated because we're all in a new place in a different space and all the different things. So, I don't know, do you wanna share anything of, like, what has helped you, even if it's just literally walk down to the sand and pick up some shells or, like, whatever it is, like, different things that maybe have helped even just in the past couple weeks?
Yeah, so I flew with a 3 and 4 year old, new 3 and 4 year old by myself
Woo!
for the first time. And we're here. My husband's not here. We're in my mother-in-law's, who's great, but like it's still my mother-in-law. Like
Sure,
it's not the same as like being on your own or even my own mom, right? Um, Yeah, so I honestly, the number one thing that helps is therapy for me.
that's
Going to
good.
therapy has been huge because it put me in a frame of mind that even I'm like, I could try this. I think, a year ago, I would have been like, you've lost your dang mind. There's no way. Um, so I think that's helped a lot, and a lot of that therapy is, like, coming up with some self-realization, which is funny because I consider myself a pretty introspective person in general, and there still have been so many, like, layers and things about myself that, a therapist have helped me to see, and that has helped. So then, like, when we, came here, I knew these are some things that are gonna be hard for me. I already, like, said, I'm gonna, go on a walk every evening, and to help with my own guilt about leaving my kids with my mother-in-law, we're gonna do it during TV time. Every day when they watch TV, like, "Grandma, are you gonna be here? I'm gonna go on a walk or a run." Like, you know, sometimes I called my sister and just talked to her. Sometimes I went on a run and exercise, like, just something. So that was one thing that was helpful. The other thing was, like, trying to be really honest with my mother-in-law, like, telling her, "Hey, I'm gonna lose my cool sometimes. You haven't seen this side of me. This is gonna happen." Um, so some things like that, and then also, like, explaining it to her after, like, "This is why I felt, like, really frustrated, this is what I did about it, blah, blah, blah." So those are some things.
I think that's so good. Yeah, setting expectations with the people that you're around is hard, but really good.
Yeah. And then don't get me wrong, like, it has not all been roses, like,
Yeah, of course.
it's been hard. It's been really hard, but
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like, even just having some sort of regular routine of something, like, for me, a lot of times it's the kids, like, all go to bed, like, fairly early most nights, and then I know so, like, even, like, throughout the afternoon or throughout, like, the crazy dinner time or whatever is going on, I know, like, okay, at this time, like, I can kinda shut my mom brain off for a little while and, like, do the things I need to do. Even if it's just, like, doing the dishes and cleaning up, it's like I can do it with my own show on or my own book on or whatever I'm doing, and, like, I know I have that time. And if I don't have that time, then the next morning, I'm like what is wrong? Like, why does everything feel like I'm not ready for this. Like, I'm not ready for the day, whatever it is. And so that's part of what we've had with some sleep struggles lately,
Mhm.
which have been tricky, but also working out. Like, I think, and for me, I don't know if this is how everybody feels, but like, if I want to get a workout in, like, I know that working out makes me feel good. I know that that's not the case for everybody, but like, I've got all the good, like, dopamine and endorphins and all the serotonin. Like, I've got it all going, and like, I feel really good after I work out. So even if I don't get my workout in until like 3 in the afternoon, even just knowing I'm gonna get there, like, propels me through the day, you know?
What
And
happens if you don't get it though?
so if I don't get it, then I'm like, I feel like it's everything is harder. Like, everything feels like the weight
So
of it
this
all is
is
harder.
so this is interesting because I can't do that because the letdown is so
It's so much
great.
harder.
Yeah, so, like, I cannot so what I have to do is tell myself, like, "You're not gonna get a break." I almost, like, set myself up for failure, and I'm like, "You need to take these small minutes." Like, take a deep breath, whatever, because, like, that's not gonna be guaranteed, and to,
Yeah.
like and that is actually what made me if I could, like, go back and tell myself when I first became a mom, I would tell myself to not do that, so that's funny that you
Well, okay, but here's the thing too, and I feel like no one talked about this before I became a mom. Is that you think you get a routine down, whether you're working mom, you're a stay-at-home mom, whatever, like, your routine has to change every 3 to 6 months. Like, there's no I mean, maybe even more than that, I don't know. Like, if you have a foster placement, your routine is probably changing, like, way more, but I think I just have, like, a good sense of, like, where we're at and, like, what the needs of my kids are in, like, whatever that season is. So, like, there have been times where, like, if I wanna get a workout in, it has to be in the early morning. Like, there's no question about it. There's no time it's gonna come later. Right now, we're in, like, a pretty sweet spot of, like, everything is, like, pretty predictable in that afternoon time that, like, I'm able to do it, and if I don't, I can get one later, maybe, but, like, I have enough days where it's predictable. So, I don't know, I think it's interesting though, but you do have to have that, like, self-realization of, "Okay, what's more helpful for me? Is it looking forward to it, or is it saying it might not happen?"
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the glasses half full, like,
Yeah.
conundrum or whatever. But I do think, like, I'm thinking about our moms, like, I know we have, like, single parent listeners. I know we have parents that,
Yeah.
like, deal with really big behaviors or have, like, challenging diagnoses. And sometimes I remember being sometimes frustrated when people would say so, like, don't hear Abby and I say this, but I remember being sometimes frustrated when I was in the thick of it, hearing people be like, "Well, you just need to take time for yourself," and I'm like, "My kids don't sleep unless they're on my body. What time am I supposed to get to myself? Like, I can't wake up before them or they're gonna wake up. I can't hang out with them after." So it was like there was you know what I'm saying? And so,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like, if you're that parent right now, like, I see you.
Yeah, seriously, and, I mean, it's so hard because I have had moments where I'm like, okay, all I just need like a mother's helper or a sitter to come for like 4 hours, like on one day a week or like whatever it might be. And like sometimes I'm like, yeah, that would be really helpful. And then other times in other seasons, I'm like, that just sounds like more work because I have to like Get
Are
get
things
things prepared, make sure that they know whatever, like, all the different things, and so, yeah, there's no, like, silver bullet. If there was, we would be telling you all about it.
yeah. Oh, for sure. Okay, but, like, so tell me, how do you think the behavior of your child how are you feeling that that reflects on you? And, like, keeping it in mind, like, that back of your mind, like, he's adopted or she with your kids. Like, you know what I mean? Because that is totally a different every parent has the, like, "Oh, that behavior, like, how does that reflect me?" But I think that there's, like, this deeper level because you're like, "But I'm also not their biological parent."
Yeah, I think that I mean, I have examples of this from yesterday that I think I try to make excuses for the behavior. So,
Mm.
like, if there are, like, real big emotions and, like, real big behavior go like, all kinds of chaos happening, I'm very quick to be like, "Oh, yeah, he's just really hungry and tired." And, like, I just kind of, like which that might be the case, like, he really might be tired and he really might be hungry, but it's like, I can't do anything to, like, meet those needs in this very moment, and so I'm, like, kind of I feel like I'm just, like, trying to make excuses or, like, I'm just trying to say something to, like, not make him look so bad, you know? I don't know, like, I'm not really sure what that says about me or what that says about my parenting, but and I don't even know if that makes sense, but that's what I really have found myself doing that, and I'll
Do you
say it
ever
Go
do
ahead.
you ever think to yourself like, "Oh, he's just doing that because he's adopted?" I'm just really, I'm asking.
No, I don't think I do.
Okay. I'm
I
just
mean,
curious.
I might more with I don't know if I would more with the girls because again, like, I don't know how to quantify it, but, like, 98% of the time, I'm not even thinking about the fact that he's
That he's
adopted.
adopted. Well, it is different, like, it is,
Yeah,
like, there's not like, the trauma in utero isn't there because
right.
he's in your utero, like, there's yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know I mean, I think just even just in general, like, I want other people to see him as, like, kind and sweet and
Mm.
grateful and, like, I want him to have those qualities in him, like, that's what I pray for him for, and I do see them, like, very often I do see them, but in those moments where they're nowhere to be found, I'm like, "I just like, bud, come on, like, I just want" but
You
it's
want everyone to see his best self.
yes, and I mean, that probably comes back to my perfectionistic tendencies
You
because
want everyone to see your best self too.
but, like, truly, like, really, really, truly, if I'm walking down the aisle of Target and I see some kid having a meltdown and the mom or the dad is doing everything they can in that moment, I'm not looking at that parent being like, "You're a terrible parent." Like, I don't think that. Like, if you're screaming at them or, like, I don't know, if you're, like, doing something where you're matching them back, like, I might have some thoughts, but I'm not like, at the end of the day, I'm like, I have no judgment towards you because I have no idea what your situation is, like, not a clue. So, I don't know why I think people are gonna think something about me. I don't know, it's just human
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah, I think all parents to an extent, like, have that, like yeah, that, like, reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's always gonna be whether I'm thinking about the fact that he's adopted or not, there's always gonna be something in me that's like, "Okay, did I do anything to, like, lead him to this point? Or did I not do something that I should have done to keep him from getting here?" Like, there's always gonna be that in my mind of, like, "Did he have too much sugar? Did he not have enough of this? Did he da 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 da?" Like, whatever it might be. And so, I definitely hold that, but I don't think that I would say it's like I'm thinking about what he's gonna what others or what I or what he are gonna think about his adoption status.
That's funny. I mean, and probably it just has to I would be curious, like, if your answer changes, like, when the
Yeah,
girls are older and you're, like, dealing more with it,
yeah,
especially because your girls are darker than Judah, right? And, like, if you're not with Josh,
mhm,
I wonder because, I mean, it's always in the back of my mind. I'm
yeah,
like, everywhere we go, I mean, it's and it would be one thing if I only had my daughter because you don't know what my
mm,
husband looks like,
true,
right? Like, if it's just me and LJ, she totally could be biological if you weren't looking really closely, you know?
true, mhm,
Um, but when I have Desmond too,
yeah,
it's like, "Oh, this" like, it's pretty obvious, like, she's not biologically mine in whatever capacity, even if she was just, like, a friend's kid or something, until she calls me mommy. Um, but no, I feel a different type of judgment, but I think what's different is I feel like a lot of, like, what's that word? Mama bear.
yeah,
I feel way more mama bear than I would have thought, especially when it comes to LJ.
Interesting.
Um, because I'm just like, "You don't know her story, like, you don't know what this kid's been through, like, you don't know
Yeah.
what we've been through to get here." And so there's more like yeah, like, I feel so I care less, but only from, like, a mama bear kind of standpoint. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're like, don't think anything bad, like, don't touch her, you don't know what has gone on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm, like, way sassy. You're, like, the exact opposite. You're like, "Oh, he's just hungry," and I'm like, "You don't deserve to know what's going on with her."
I know. It's so true. I know, I like that we're opposites. I'm so curious, we need to, like, somehow put a poll out or something, I wanna know what other people are.
My son, I'm a little more like you,
Yeah,
where I'm like, "I want you to see his best self, like, he's really pleasant, he's
yeah.
really fun," and my daughter, I'm just, like, really protective over, like, don't assume things about her. Yeah, like, don't I don't know, yeah. I
No,
so do not keep treat my kids equally.
it's so tricky. I know, I'm, like, really curious. I wish that we'll have to, like, come back and have this conversation in 3 years when the twins are 4, and it's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, what do I think now?"
But also, like, I think that there is, like, validity to this, like, you shouldn't treat your kids equally. They do
Yeah.
have different paths, like, even biological kids, like, they have different personalities, they, like, need things different, whatever, but, like, I remember one of our guests, Beth Michemo, said this about, like, one of her kids, like, she allowed some sort of allowance, I can't remember what it was, like, maybe she let them do something, her adopted child, that she did not let the biological child do.
Mm.
And she just literally told the biological child, like, "He's adopted, he has a different backstory than you do, and he interprets this different," or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember, maybe it was about sleep or
I
something, I can't
know.
remember.
I
But
know,
either way, like, that's how I feel. I'm like so okay, so for instance, I will share this, about my daughter, and I've shared this in the past. We deal with some sensory selective eating, and so when it comes to dinner, she can pretty much just tell us what she wants. Like, there's not very many things, and so it's like, "Of these things, which do you want for dinner?" But I don't go to my son and say, "Hey, son, what would you like for dinner? Let me just make you a whole new meal." I'm like, "No, you can have what we're eating or what LJ's eating,"
Mhm.
and that I'm not making you with something else. I'm
Yeah.
treating them different.
Yeah, I know, it's so true, and, I mean, you could have a biological child with some real sensory needs that you need to I don't what was yours, like, making pancakes for dinner? You made pancakes for a
W
while or some
when
yeah.
that now it's waffles, but
Oh,
yeah.
now it's waffles, okay. We've upgraded.
It's the exact same thing in a different form, but yeah.
Waffles, they do hit different, though. I
So
love
sick of all
waffles.
breakfast food. Um, but yeah,
We're in, like, an omelet phase right now, like, we just
I
make
like
a
it.
lot
I
of
had an omelet
omelets.
the other day.
Yeah, they're good. Anyways,
Yeah, so anyway, I think that behavior does make a difference in terms of, like, how you parent, like, if you have one child that is having, like, explosive, dangerous behaviors, like, you're legitimately gonna do things different than your child that
sure.
isn't, you know? And then yeah, and then going back to, like, the way that we're perceived, like, I think we all care, but I do think there's another element when that child's adopted, especially if it's visible, or like more visible, because you are like, what's the world thinking about the way that I'm handling this right now?
Yeah, yeah, and if you have a foster placement, like, that's I feel like that's a whole I mean, I just know from, like, the respite standpoint, but, like, that's a whole other level of what are people thinking? What do I need to do things differently. I need to treat this child in my home differently than my other children or whatever it might be. There are just like so many very specific things that you have to watch for in each of your kids.
I think foster care and adoption should like really teach you to like never judge another parent ever for
So
anything.
true. It's so
Cause
true.
I'm
And
like,
yeah,
yeah,
that's probably why I feel more are, like, less judgy and, like, less uptight about things now. Because okay, here's another example, even, like, the backpack leashes. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast before, but, like, the backpacks the kids wear and then the parent holds the leash or string, whatever. Um, I have seen parents with those and been like, like, "You can't just keep track of your kid? Like, what the heck?" And now I mean, that was before I was even a mom, so there's that. But now, even just having twins and now having 3 kids, I'm like, we're in Disneyland a few weeks ago, and I'm like, if
Where's the
these
leash?
if these kids weren't in this stroller right now, like, I would need those leashes. So, like, there's so many different things that yeah, like, you or, like, even maybe in, like, even in different phases, like, maybe you have a newborn now or you have, like, kids under 2 or 3, like, you're gonna see things differently than you will in a few years.
You get like yeah, like, let's talk a little bit about, like, those, like, really hard behaviors that people have, like, you may have to have a leash because your child elopes, meaning they run away, like, you may have to have locks on your kid's door, because they're doing things they shouldn't at night, like, there are so many things that, like, you look at someone, "Oh, an iPad at dinner, can't they just teach their kid to have a conversation?" But, like, you don't know that they're autistic and they need this because there's environment is so stimulating that there's no way they're making it through dinner. You know what I mean? Like there's just there's so many scenarios and then and that goes like for everybody. I just think it
Mhm.
like is another layer when you add adoption, all the comorbidities that often come, not always, but often come with a child that's been in foster care or adopted.
Yeah, so true. And I think just, like, my word of encouragement to parents is to learn your children and then also to learn yourself. Like, you have to you have to know yourself. Maybe that I should say that first. Know yourself first. So you know some of these different things and how different things are going to impact you. And then know your kids each individually, which can be hard, but know each of them individually and what their needs are.
Yeah, I will second that. And I'll add, kind of before we close out tonight, that like if you're a parent that had this vision of adoption and you have a child that maybe has way bigger behaviors than you knew existed, and you're finding yourself just like on a tailspin, like one, exactly what Abby said, like know yourself, get help, in whatever way you can that you have capacity for, but also really go back to remember, like, why did you adopt? Why? Because that will help you to just feel that, like, okay, I didn't adopt, or at least I hope you didn't adopt, so that my family could look perfect. You know what I mean? Like, that's not why we
Right.
adopted. Like, we adopted or we're taking care of children in foster care because these were children in need that we said, I want to care for them. It's about them, not about us. It's not about making our family all wear matching bows in a family photo.
It's so true. Yeah, and if that is your motivation or ever has been your motivation, hopefully it's not anymore.
I know. I'm like, if it is, if you were there, I totally get it. I get it.
Yeah.
But like you also need to wrap your brain around, like, that's not reality in a lot of cases. Expectations versus reality,
Yeah, I know.
the secret title of this podcast.
It really is, we always come back to it. Yeah, and I think, like, as we go throughout this month and we have our expert interviews, which, yeah, I'm so excited for you all to hear. It's gonna be so good, and you will probably have to listen to multiple times because it's that good. And then just talking to another parent, I think it will be really helpful to just keep breaking this all down. Hopefully, you know you are so seen, like, you are not in this alone at all. And hopefully, yeah, you just keep coming back for more. We've got so many good things in store.
Yeah, you guys, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you a sneak peek next week and maybe the next week. We have two amazing guests, and they are both TBRI practitioners, which stands for Trust Based Relational Intervention, which is a whole thing by Karen Purvis. If you're not familiar with it, look it up. But we have two TBRI practitioners. One is Marty Smith. She's an OT, and I was a little starstruck in this interview. And equally amazing, Amy Higgins, who is a teacher and author. They're actually co-authors on a new book that they're going to talk about, and you don't want to miss it. So you definitely want to be on the lookout for next week's episode, and the next week with our amazing expert guest. So, with that, we will leave you. And if anything we said today made you laugh, cry, or feel seen, please share this with a friend. We'll see you guys again next week.